Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Sunday, June the 12th, the year is 2022. Let's talk trading. And it is time for the weekly open and gap. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So let's take a look at the week. And so far, we've got a bunch of gaps that haven't filled. So there's still gaps, trades out there for you. We're putting in the opening range for the day. And as you can see, we are below the previous day's low, which was Friday's low, and we're way outside of the opening range for the month. We are 1,236 pips below the yearly open at the time, 310 below the monthly open, and 21 below the weekly daily open. We look back 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we had an inside bar. We are 223 pips outside of that range. And let's see, for the day, we've got some inside bar action here, and for the week, and we've got about a handful for the month. So inside bar traders, there are trades waiting for you. So far today, and we are 8 hours into the trading day, we don't have any pairs over 100 pips in range. And for the buy zone traders, as you can see, we had a short signal, and that's all we've had so far. Rat traders, the range isn't quite large enough at the moment, but you can see we did bounce off of that rat zone here. Looks like we got about 20 pips below the daily high, came back up, and then it's pushed back down. So let's see, on this bar, we actually hit the 2300, and we've pulled back about 11 pips. So if you wanted the chance to rat trade, considering we're only about 3 or 4 pips short of the distance being large enough, there's a chance. There was an opportunity for you to take. As far as the pivot goes, Bambino Flex indicator said to go short. As you can see, there's the yearly low. I'm sorry, the yesterday's low or Friday's low, previous session's low. And then we didn't quite make it to S1, but we did break that low. And that's pretty much what Bambino Flex indicator was doing. And for those of you who are curious, I called it the Bambino Flex pivot. I wrote that for Bambino Flex, and it's over where I post my code. As far as the pivot, we opened below the pivot point. So if we get near the pivot, the bias is short. Near S1, bias is long. Well, we haven't gotten too close to S1, but we got to the midpoint between the pivot and S1, and price seems to be turning back up. Notice how price hit yesterday's low and then pulled back off of it. As far as the pivot, once again, we haven't hit the daily, we haven't hit the weekly, but we have taken out the monthly. So you can see here, we've got 4 missed pivots, weekly missed pivots, and we still have 3 monthly missed pivots. And the daily, we have got a bunch of missed daily pivots so far this year. We'll have to see if they get cleared out or not. Wick zone, in and out of that lower wick zone, and you can see here it came back, it touched it, and it's pulled back 9 pips off of Friday's low. So far the range, like I mentioned earlier, only 57 pips. We did break out of the previous low by 39 pips. So anybody taking those breakout trades, weekly high, low, daily high, low, were rewarded. High minus the opens, only 8 pips. Probably couldn't really get it because of the crazy spreads at the time when I watched the open today and the spreads were just crazy. There's just no way you could get any of those. So you had to wait about 2 hours before the spreads calmed down. And open minus low, we did have 49 pips that you could have put in your pocket. We're showing the wall mall sweet spot gold lines here, even though this is not the time of day to be trading wall mall. Once again, because we just don't have the range that we do during the London and New York sessions. And that's just one thing that's just really important, traders, is that, certain pairs react differently during certain times of the day. So certain methods work or certain indicators work during certain times of the day. And sometimes it might just be a 3 or 4 hour window. But once you figure that out, once you nail that down, it can be highly profitable. So you can, make enough pips in just a couple of hours and you can be done for the day and get on with other things. Because even if you're trading quote unquote full time, that's your number one source of income stream. It doesn't mean you have to be there 8 hours a day. It really doesn't. Unless, of course, maybe if you're a swing trader, but if you're, taking the little scalps, intraday trades, you might make enough pips in an hour or two, and you can literally be done for the day. And that's one thing I think we're going to explore this week. Because I was talking with Walmall, and I came up with this idea that there's times during a trade where you're managing the risk. There's times when you're managing the profit, and then there's sometimes when you're just following the chart. And I want to really see if we can nail down when you should be doing which of those. The first 2 or 3 pips of the trade, that's when you're going to either be managing the risk or you're going to be looking at the chart. And then if you're up, say 10 or 20 pips, you might want to start managing the money. If you're down 5 to 10 pips, you might want to really be focused on the risk. And that's something that I don't think anybody's actually talked about. So I want to explore that because I also mentioned that trading might be able to do it like driving, but I've had a few other thoughts about that, and I think there's some things that are similar, but some things aren't. So when you drive, you pretty much know where you're going. You have an idea. But when you trade, you really don't have that idea. You have where you would like to go, but you can't make the trade go there. You can't drive the trade there like you can drive the car, to the store or on vacation or something. So that's a really big difference. Where in the car, you are pretty much in total control. In the trading, you're not really in control at all once you pull the trigger. I mean, once you enter the trade, there's no control. It's going to either go for you or against you. All you can do is say, okay, it's gone enough in one direction or the other, and it's time to get out. So, like I said, I'm kind of rethinking that analogy, but I think there are some aspects of driving that can be applicable, but as a total analogy, I don't really think um, it's the same. You might be able to do it subconsciously or unconsciously, where you're not 100% focused because you can be having a conversation, listening to music, doing email or something else while you're trading, texting. Um, But of course, you probably trade best when you're totally focused. So it's just something to consider. And I was thinking about the whole idea about focusing. It's like, really, what do you focus on? And that's what led me to think about, well, there's the money management, the risk management, and then actually looking at the chart and knowing when to do which of those. So hopefully we'll get to those this week. Okay, simple trading here. We have some lower high, higher low trades here on the pound. As you can see, there was a nice clear signal there. If you would have taken that trade, there was no drawdown at all. And you could have probably picked up 4 or 5 pips. Not a problem. Looking at the monthly, let's see, close minus open, 307. Since we did break out of the low, we might want to look at the year-to-date accumulated. Nope, still not. Still hasn't changed. So we can look at the range by month. And we're at 355 pips. And looking at the weekly with the, somebody was asking about this, what I call the trade reminder. You can set up to 4 different periods. And what all this indicator does is, whoops, there's different things I have coded in there, lower lows, higher lows, lower highs, etc. And it's just some of the things that it's just a reminder. Sometimes there's so many things you can look at and you just might forget. So this one, you can read it and see what price is doing on the different time frames, where price is relative to different places on the chart. And so that's why I call it trade reminder. It's just something handy. And in fact, like I said, we're going to discuss the whole idea of when to do what. And I'm really thinking I might be able to put that, make a addition or a whole new exit playbook. Because as I was thinking about that, the exit playbook, the way I wrote it, was basically pip oriented. Price moves X number of pips, this is what you do. And that's one way, and it's not that that's an invalid way, but sometimes you might want to let the chart override the exit playbook in the sense that maybe you want to see if you can get more pips. Hey, it's making higher lows and I'm long, so maybe I want to ride it out. But then might get to the point where, hey, you know what? I'm up 2% on the account. Do I want to risk, giving back 1% before I punch out, 0.5%? What do I want to do? Those are the kind of things you really should have in place before you enter the trade. So when it comes up, you don't have to think about it. You don't have time to think because price can move so quick. In fact, I've seen it do it twice today where on the pound, it ran up. Actually, no, it was on the yen. It ran up to like 135.21. And then I'm sitting there and I had the price on the chart. Next thing I know, it's down to 124.75. I mean, it just dropped. So that's why you need to know what you're going to do ahead of time. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun, safe weekend and enjoyable, and I wish you a profitable trading day and week. And I hope you always remember and never forget when you're at your trading terminal, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.